Hey, and welcome to my channel. Now go get your drink. This might be a long one. We are going to not really recap this stinky, sucky year in so many ways. We're going to talk about the new year coming and what I have planned for my weight loss journey. Now, before we get started, I thought it was very apropos, if I could use a big 50-cent word, that when I changed my card, this right there, when I changed my motivational card for today, knowing I was already going to film this today because I'm doing weigh-in tomorrow and then meal plan and grocery haul Friday, so I didn't want to wait till Saturday. I thought, well, I'll go ahead and do it today. You probably can't see from there, but it says live and let live. Kind of what this video will be about in a roundabout way, because as my thumbnail probably stated, I'm filming right now and I hadn't made my thumbnail, but it probably says something about, am I sticking with Weight Watchers? The answer is no, I'm not. I have given it a lot of thought. When I started low carb, what, 2 months ago? Was it 2 months or more? I don't even know now. That's when I started using iTrack Bites. I have used it like twice in the past, so I'm very comfortable with it. And I know that it will give you points. They call them bites. I still call them points. Same difference. Points and calories and macros, which includes your carbs. And I wanted to be able to keep a track of my carbs. So that's why I started doing iTrack Bites. 99% exclusively iTrack Bites when I started low carb. So I've not been using the Weight Watchers app, very sporadically. Well, I went pro on the iTrack Bites. There's I think I gave it to you last time. It's on, I should have looked it up. It's on Smiley's Points. It's his website, Smiley's Points or Smiley Points. He has a code you can get the whole year for like $25. And if you want to do the blue plan, that is better balance, you have to go pro. So I went pro. I paid my $25. Now, I've never been to a meeting, so I've never joined. I've never done anything like that. I've always just been online only. But still, just to use the app is $21 a month. And I know they offer more stuff, but I use none of it. Zip. Nothing. I don't use Connect. I don't use their recipes. I don't use their sleeping things. Whatever all these new things that they're putting in there. I don't use their, I track my weight. I track my weight on it. And when it says, how did your week go? I don't use that. I don't use their emails. I don't even read their emails. And I'm not trying to be snotty about it. I'm just saying I'm paying $21 a month for the privilege of figuring out points on foods, which I can do on iTrack Bites for $25 a year. So I don't know about y'all, but money's not that easy for me to come by. $21 a month is a lot to me. So I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna continue to use iTrack Bites, whether I quit Weight Watchers or not. I'm going to continue to use iTrack Bites because I want to see my calories and I want to see my carbs. Because we know when I went to the endocrinologist, we don't have to rehash the whole thing. He said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And what I was doing was when I had started low carb. Then we all know the other doctor says, no, go Mediterranean. Well, then I went Mediterranean and I started eating whole grain breads and things, and those did some triggers. They weren't white breads, but those some things hit the triggers, and then I just went, no good, no good. So what I'm doing now is low carb with whole grains, and I'm not eating any bread. Now this week is an exception. So when I'm talking about what I'm doing, I mean what I will be doing. But we'll get into that. But yeah, I thought, why, if I'm gonna get everything I need from iTrack Bites, why do I need to keep paying monthly just to use an app? Because that is all that I used. Now that also brings me to, are you still going to do a Weight Watcher style program on iTrack Bites while you do low carb. Because before, what I did, hold on, I've been out running errands and it is cold outside, so I had to come get my coffee before we got started. You know we got to have a beverage. What was I saying? Oh, even when I was doing low carb, I come to you every couple of days and said, okay, here's what I ate. I would give you the points, I'll give you the calories, and I'll give you the carbs. Well, I did not go at it with points as the main goal. I didn't have a set number of carbs. I knew kind of where I needed it to stay, and I knew where I wanted the calories to stay. So what I would eat, I would go at it low carbish. This is before I added the grains in, and wherever the points fell, that's where the points fell, and wherever the calories fell, that's where the calories fell, and they usually lined up pretty good. Well, as time went on, I just quit calculating the points. I'm concerned about the carbs, and I'm concerned about the calories, and not so much the points. So no, I'm not going to follow any Weight Watcher program that has points. I'm going to concentrate on my carbs, and I'm going to concentrate on my calories. Now, I was watching Robbie over at Freaky Fit Wolf the other day, and he was doing his video, and he was talking about how he was going to do some changes, and pretty much everything he said, I'm like, that's what I'm getting ready to say. So we're on the same wavelength. I know for a fact, as I'm sitting here looking into this phone, that I'm going to lose subscribers and I'm going to lose views, because there's some of you out there that you're not on this channel for me, and I don't mean that in an ugly way. You're on it for WW content. I won't be giving you WW content, which, in all fairness, I don't know that I gave you WW content before. I gave you weight loss content. The only thing WW related was I gave you points if I gave you a recipe. Well, you can put a recipe in your tracker and figure out the points yourself if it sounds like something you're interested in. And if I use full-fat dairy, full-fat cheese, or some other product that would give you more points, that's a simple switch for you to do. Just use a lower fat cheese, use skim milk, use your almond milk. So there are things that you can do for yourself and still follow along if you so desire. Now, I know this channel was birthed in a Weight Watchers territory, because that's what I was doing, and it was a Weight Watchers channel started, but it has morphed into so many other things. We do other things here. How many times have I told y'all? Weight Watchers does not rule my world. Weight loss does not rule my world. There is more to it. Do I still have a ton to lose? Absolutely. And do I have good reasons to lose it? Absolutely. But am I going to let it control my life to the point to where I don't have a life? No, I'm not. If it takes longer, then it takes longer, and I'll just deal with it. But I hope that's what that card back there made me think. Live and let live. I hope that, because I don't care what program you're on. I don't even care if you're not on a program. I don't care if you're not trying to lose weight a bit more than the man in the moon. I don't care. I just like having you here. I like sharing myself with you. I like talking with you in the comments, or the email, or the messenger, or in cards and letters and things like that. Now, if you think you need to move on, then I wish you well. But I don't think it should matter what plan or how we're going at it, since we're all got the same goal in mind. It's like the mall down here. There's 100 different roads to get to the mall, but we all want to end up at the mall. So I don't see why it should make a difference if I do leave Weight Watchers. But if that's what you feel you need to do, no hard feelings. No hard feelings at all. What do we always say around here? It is what it is. Ain't that like the big saying of the day? It is what it is. So there ain't nothing I can do about it. Now, I took some notes because I want to tell you how I'm going to go at this in case you are interested to know what I am going to be doing for the new year of 2021, which has to be better. It just has to be better. All the way around, right? I got the notes here because I won't forget to tell you nothing. Now, as a recap, we know I have diabetes. This is the type 2. Why is low carb? So that the endocrinologist, he told me when I saw him the first time, if your sugar's too high, you're eating too many carbs. And upon my research, it's true. So this is our recap. Carbs raise your blood glucose levels more than any other foods. That is the sugars and the starches of the carbs, the ones that spike up your blood sugar, and then that makes your body produce more insulin and makes you digest more insulin to digest those carbs. Now, reducing those carbs can stabilize your blood glucose. Now, the fiber in carbs, which are your complex carbs, your starch and your sugars are your simples. The fiber, which is your complex carbs, it does not spike your levels of glucose and it takes longer to digest them. That's where the stabilization comes in. So even though I lost weight, and y'all know how good I did when I was doing just low carb, I wasn't doing any of the grains or anything. That's added in for the cholesterol. So I'm good with that. Even though Susan in Southern California, she says she's a nurse, and honestly, any kind of weight loss plan is going to, for the most part, fix all those things anyway, just by the mere fact of losing weight. So however you go at it, the losing of the weight should help. So I'm not going to go overboard on the whole grains. I'm gonna limit them, but I am gonna have them. So that is why low carb is good for diabetics. And we already talked about how if you don't use all your the carbs that you eat, when it turns to fat, if it's not burned off for energy, instead of using the fat for energy, we already talked about all that. Now, I looked up what is considered low carb, and rule of thumb is low carb. Eating low carb is considered 100 to 150 carbs, and that's not net carbs. That's just carbs. I will be paying attention to my net carbs because, like, say for instance, oatmeal. Oatmeal is high in carbs, but it's also high in fiber, so you get to take away that fiber from the carbs, and it doesn't count against you. Okay, so when I did the low carb to begin with, around 30 and less is where I lost my most weight. That's where I thrived. And in the whole grains, my personal goal is going to be 50 to 100. I don't want to go over 100. I don't want to go much higher than 50, to be honest with you. But I'm going to give myself some leeway there for the oatmeal and the potatoes. We're going to talk about what I'm going to eat. Now, as the endocrinologist also told me, stressed it. And did I say stressed it? It's all about the calories. We know that is the truth. Points are just a way to keep up with what food you eat, but it is still how many calories in and how many calories out that are going to determine what you lose, gain, maintain, whatever. So go to calculator.net, and that's the one that he showed me in the office. It will let you put in your age, your gender, your height, your weight, and it will tell you how many calories you need to eat to maintain or lose. This is what mine is. So to maintain where I'm at right now, I can eat 2,504 calories. a half a pound a week to lose a half a pound a week, 2254. A pound a week, 2004. 2 pounds a week, 1504. I don't want to go 1500 calories. That's just too. I know some people do it, but that's too much for me right now. This is something that I will adjust as I go. I will periodically revisit as I lose weight, and periodically put it back into the calculator and readjust as we need it. What I've decided to do is to go in between the 1 and the 2 pound, and so pick 1800. I'm going to shoot for 1800, no more. If it's lower, it's lower, but I'm going to try not to go higher than 1800 calories and no higher than 100 carbs. And this is something that I will see as I go if it works. And like I said, I'll adjust it. Even if I haven't lost weight, if I'm gaining, I'll adjust it. I'll lower some stuff or, whatever I need to do. Now, what will I eat? This is my main objective. I do that all the time. My main objective is to avoid processed food as much as possible. That is where you get yourself in trouble, because that's where your white flours and your sugars are, in the processed foods. That's where you're going to find the bulk of that. Oh, I heard David in there talking. He must be on the phone. He's talking loud. He must be talking to his mama. I ain't laughing at her. I'm just saying that's what he has to do. So I'm going to greatly reduce or eliminate these things from my diet. That is sugar, white flour, bread of any, even whole wheat bread. Bread is just, I've told y'all before, it's a gateway drug. I start eating bread and then I start wanting all the other snacks. I don't know what it is, but there's something about bread that just sticks it to me, so I'm staying away from it. White pasta, white rice, and fruit. I don't like fruit anyway. I will eat fruit. I'll eat apples, but it's not like, every day I think, I sure do want me an apple. I could go for some strawberries. Nope. I didn't grow up eating fruit, and I just don't like fruit as an adult. I will eat it because I think it's healthy for you. But as far as the carbs go and keeping that sweet tooth activated, I laid off of them when I started low carb, and it worked. I quit eating the bananas. I quit eating all the fruits. I did eat watermelon because watermelon's high in potassium, and we know I'm low in potassium, and there are foods that are high in potassium that I need to be eating. I need to have those to try to control that through my diet instead of a pill. Listen, one more pill and I'm going to scream. I just can't take one more pill. But the doctor, she said, control it with my diet. So watermelon, I'm okay with that. But other fruits, I'm just laying off of them because, like I say, they activate that sweet tooth. If I do eat them, then I want something better. If I eat an apple, I don't want that apple. I want something even better than an apple. I want apple pie. You see what I'm saying? Eat a banana, I want a banana pudding. So I'm laying off of the fruit. I did that the first time around and it worked. It worked for me. That's it. Live and let live. We have to do what's right for us. See, that's it. I know how I started, but I've got to do what I've got to do for me. I've got to do what will work for me. I cannot hang on to the fear of losing subscribers or losing views, put my life on hold, or in a different place than I need to be just for that fear. I can't do it. I have to just let go. So I'm letting go and I'm putting it out there that I'm changing it, and that's what I have to do because that's what I have to do for me. That's what I hope everybody would do for you. And whether it's about what you eat in your diet and losing weight or whatever, your whole entire life, you do what you have to do for you, period. Now, this is what I am going to eat. Lean proteins. Now, The Mediterranean says lay off of the beef, even limit your chicken. No, I'm going to eat all the lean protein I want. We still only had beef once a week, twice a week sometimes. Pork, we usually try to hit it once a week. Chicken a time or two, and then sometimes we have our meatless, bean days, because we did that even before any kind of weight loss. We've always had our bean days, our hobo dinner. So I'm not going to limit my meat. I'm just not. Non-starchy vegetables. Okay. Except potatoes, white potatoes, and sweet potatoes, because both of those are very high in potassium. They're, I think, even higher than bananas. So I will still have potatoes, and I will still have sweet potatoes for the potassium. I'm just not going to sit down and gorge on it. Green vegetables, olive oil. Green vegetables, I think I put myself a note somewhere. I'm not even measuring them or counting them. Not doing it. I'm not doing it. They're not going towards a carb count or a calorie count, because they're green vegetables and they're good for you and you need them. And I don't like them. So I'm gonna eat it, and that's just that. Same with olive oil. I don't count it anyway. I'm not going to count it. I'm not going to count it now. It's too healthy to count against you for anything. Nuts, avocados, eggs, beans, full fat dairy, which is they recommend when you go low carb to go full fat dairy. I think because when they take out fat, they put in sugar, things like that. That changes the carbs. And then whole grains. That's the non-low carb part that I'm going to add. Yep. And that is what I'm going to eat. Now, this page talks about how will I track. I am still going to track because I think that's important. And that is important to be able to look back and say, oh, okay, well, you did pretty good that week. Because, I've been bad about it. When it was just plain old Weight Watchers, I was bad about tracking. I didn't track 0 point foods. I didn't do none of that. But when I started low carb and I started writing it down in that book, then I wrote down everything I ate. And so it was easy for me to look back and see what I had and if I was successful or not successful. So I'm going to do eye track bites. I've already told you I've been doing that anyway. So nothing new there. And I'm going to keep doing it in my little paper book. Now on the eye track bites, I'm going to do carb conscious. There's I'm going to give you a eye track bites tutorial. There's plenty of those out there. And it's an easy program to follow. You got the recipe builder, just like Weight Watchers. You got the restaurants, just like Weight Watchers. You have favorites. You have all the, database of all the foods. Some of them are a little annoying in the fact that maybe it doesn't give cups. It doesn't give as many choices for your measurements, but it's not so annoying that I can't get it done. I was doing the Better Balance, so it had the points, and then you can switch. I'm trying to say, I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to kind of describe to you how that works. Yeah, that's where I put my note about I'm not tracking or measuring or weighing my green vegetables, and that's where the paper will come in handy, so I can look back and say, well, if I look at my tracker, you didn't even have any green vegetables this week? Well, I can look on my paper and say, yeah, you did. You had green beans, you had asparagus, which we found that we like. So that is why I'm going to do the paper to track the things that I might not put in the actual tracker because I'm not going to measure them out. Now, carb conscious. It tracks carbs and not points. I could still do, since I paid for you don't have to pay to do carb conscious. It's free. The Better Balance, which is the blue plan, and then keto something. Those are the two that you have to go pro for and pay for. So if you don't want to do the blue plan, I don't know what green. There's websites out there that tells you exactly what Weight Watcher plans line up to what iTrack Bike plans. And I think some are even the older plans, maybe Momentum and some of the other Points Plus. Some of those might be the iTrack Bike plans. You just need to look that up and see, because you might want to do one of them. You can count calories, and just calories that has no points involved. You can do one that helps you reduce your sugar, still has points. Carb conscious, it gives you an allotment of carbs instead of allotment of points. Well, I have already told you how many carbs I want. Carb conscious is not taking into consideration that I'm adding whole grains in mine. So it gave me I think it was 45 carbs. Well, that's not enough if I'm going to add in whole grains. So there is a setting that you can go in on and manually change how many carbs you want per day. You also get weekly carbs. I'm not even going to do those. I'm just going to stick to the daily. I'm not going to say I got extra carbs for the week. I'll just stick to the daily and, let's let it fall where it falls. You can also see on Better Balance, you see your points. You can pick which secondary measurement you want to see. So the points show up here, and then there's a line underneath it. You can choose to see calories, or you can choose to see macros, which shows your carbs. What I would have to do before was I could see calories, but then when I wanted to see my carbs to fill out my paper, I would have to go in the settings and do it and fix it around, put it in macros, and there that was. And then the next day, I would see the carbs, and then I would flip it over and see the calories. And I would just have to keep going back and forth like that. Well, since I'm not counting points, I don't really need to be bothered with that. So carb conscious, I can manually change my carbs, which I changed it to 100. I can manually change my calories, which I lowered them because it gave me 2,200 or something like that. So I manually changed my calories. So now that's all I can see, and it's all on one screen. That's what I wanted to see. I don't need to see points, but I do want to see calories, and I do want to see carbs, and they're both on the same screen. The counter at the top is the carbs, and then the line underneath is the calories. So that's why I'm going to do carb conscious. Now let me see if there's anything else. Oh, yeah, I was going to tell you, all the other programs let you see your calories. All the programs let you see your calories. And if you want to see them at a glance, at the same time with your points, just go in the settings and put your secondary measure to calories instead of macros. And as you're counting points, you will keep a running total. You will see the running total of your calories. So that's all the notes I took. So that's what I'm planning on doing this year. I'm looking for a year of success. I did good when I went low carb. I think it is right for me. It's a right fit for my body. My body, it just reacted a good way. It was losing weight. And then I got off on the Mediterranean, and I got all twisted around and turned around. And I'm just going back to that. And so, in case you're just joining us, this already in progress program, I'm not going to be renewing my Weight Watchers membership. It's good through the end of January, I think. But since I hadn't been using it anyway, I'm not going to use it just to be using it. And you know what I mean? I'm just going to keep using the iTrack Bites. So I hope you stick with me. I'd love to have you around. But if you decide you need to go, I will understand. I will not be mad. But I'm going to look and I'm going to say, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Anyway, I do appreciate y'all. I appreciate you. As I was telling B, if you True Blue subscribers, you True Blue supporters, I appreciate y'all more than you know. Y'all keep me going. Y'all, listen. there's a lot of times I would just have given up if I didn't have this here to come to and to say, guess what? I screwed up, or guess what? Something good happened. You know, having this outlet to come to keeps me going. I get tired some days, and some days I think I don't want this camera in my face a bit more than a man in the moon. But you know what? When I do get in front of it, it's all good. So, I'm going to start rambling now. I will be back tomorrow for my weigh-in, and ooh, it's going to be on like a chicken bone. Because I'm going to tell you what, we've been eating. We've been eating. Yes, we have. What did we say earlier in the video? It is what it is. New year, new me, new plan, new everything. We're just going to start fresh. And we're not going to beat ourselves up about it either. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. How about that? So, if you're still here, thanks for sticking around to the end of this video. And if you're still here tomorrow, thanks for sticking around for the long haul. Thanks for sticking around for me. I appreciate that. I will be here for you. I don't care what plan you're doing. I don't even care if you're doing a plan. So, that's all I know. I'll see you tomorrow.